Hey there, it's Scott with the How to Sell Show. We are on episode number 210. I'm coming to you live from Sacramento, California. And this episode today of Clowns, Cowards, and Cheats, How Sales has lost its soul and who's about to pay the price, is something that I've been thinking about for a past couple of months. But some videos that have been shared with me, some events that I've been to live as of recently, really set the tone for this conversation has to be had. I'm not going to sit on the sidelines and not say anything. And I will let you know, this is the fourth time that I have recorded this episode because I wanted to get the essence of, yeah, there's a problem out there and it can be fixed. I don't want it to feel like it's just a complaint session. I want you to know that you are an amazing human being. You don't have to fall for some of these tricks and some of these shenanigans to be a great salesperson. So the flow today is going to be a little bit different because of the way that I had to arrange the notes. It's meant to be informative and not meant to be preachy. And I'm not going to name names. And there's a couple of reasons why. Because there's so many of these dudes and chicks out there at this point that it's not going to do any good. Every time that one gets caught and gets taken down, 4 or 5 more pop up. So there's quite a few of these dudes and chicks that are out there at this point that are clowns, cowards, and cheats. But you need to know that at the end of the day, to prepare yourself for what you're up against, especially if you're brand new at sales, and really especially if you're in the middle of a sales slump. So I want to introduce you to a term called the motivational industrial complex. The motivational industrial complex. And this is what it is. It's a manipulative industry that sells false hope under the guise of self-improvement, preying on people's insecurities to keep them endlessly buying more advice, courses, and seminars. It packages empty inspiration as transformation, creating addicts of motivation rather than achievers of progress. Beneath its glossy promises lies a cycle of dependency, where the goal isn't growth, it's your continued consumption and buying of products, goods, and services. It hooks the illusion of progress, always dangling the next product, seminar, book, course, or elite level as the missing key to success, keeping you trapped in an endless cycle of buying products, goods, and services that never get you anywhere. There are some people out there right now today selling courses that the end goal is to get you to the next course. And the end goal after that is to get you to the next course. And the end goal to that, it's like they give you 80% of what you need so that you have to buy the next 20%. And then to fix the problem, they give you 80% of what you need only for you have to buy the next 20%. Sometimes these numbers are off. It's actually, they only give you 20%, and then you got to buy the next 80. It is pure shenanigans. So I want to go over an important topic with you. And before we talk about the clowns, the cowards, and the cheats, let's start with the truth. At the end of the day, sales was never supposed to be about you. It was supposed to be about them, the client. And the goal at the end of the day has always been simple: to help the client win, solve their problem, protect their outcome, make their world a better place because they trusted you. This is what the sales profession was built on: trust, competence, empathy, service. And you got to know this is a form of superiority if you're looking at preeminence. But somewhere along the line, the mission got hijacked by social media influencers, and some other scoundrels. Clowns traded craftsmanship for charisma. Clowns started performing for the algorithm instead of the people. Clowns began chasing applause instead of outcomes. Sales coaching, and sales training, it used to be a craft, and now it's a freaking circus. And the ringmasters, they're not professionals, they're actors. Loud, flashy, addicted to attention. The clowns chase dopamine, the cowards hide behind the scenes, and the cheats sell the dreams they've never lived. Meanwhile, real closers, the one who actually sell, solve, and serve, are left cleaning up the mess, rebuilding the trust that others destroyed. Let that sink in. So let's tell the truth. Let's draw a line, because sales isn't supposed to be a show. It's supposed to be a calling. And it's time to call the clowns, the cowards, and the cheats. I went over a lot. I specifically chose many of those words for the meaning that they have. And I want to talk to you about pre-circus, pre-social media, pre-2000s, where you had to earn credibility through consistency and not clicks. You actually had to bring something to the table. You had to have skills, talents, and capabilities that people knew that you could deliver upon the outcome. Now, There's always been clowns, cheats, and cowards. It's just been magnified by social media. Back in the day, you put in the hard work and you got rewarded. Back then, nobody had to scream louder, push out more content to be trusted. You proved your value in person, not on video. Not by likes, not by amount of views, not by total watch hours. It wasn't about hype personality. It was all about the sales performance, how to take care of the client. But here's the thing. Now, the louder the act, the bigger the following, the wilder, the crazier the events are getting. But let's start with the loudest, the clowns. They don't really teach. They perform for the views. There's not a real lesson plan. They scream in video, they mock clients, they threat people, they turn sales into a garbage performance art. It's like it's a late night Saturday TV show. And the hope is to get more views, to get more clicks, to get people to talk about them. They portray wealth. They flash cars, watches, rented houses because envy triggers attention. And that's the formula. If they've got the money, they've got to be successful. If they have some sort of connection to money, what they're saying has to be true. They try to one-up the other guy with circus acts, and their acts are egregious. The other day, I had a friend send me a message, and he said, "Hey, what do you think of this sales training?" And the person who was in the video was threatening, screaming and yelling and threatening and wanting to fight another salesperson for some small infraction. It's not needed. It's beyond the scope of what sales coaching and sales training is. They threaten, they harm, they emotionally scar others for the sake of views. This was the video that I'm talking about was not good. I would be surprised if anybody would want to hire this person for the industry that it was in after this video got out. And it's wild. It's wild to me. I've actually been in rooms where I have seen employees threatened for asking questions, threatened with massive harm in ways that are unmentionable on this podcast. So they've traded solid education for views and stimulation. They want people to talk about how wild it was. This is why I'm not naming names, because I don't want to help their count for their views. They've replaced real content with chemical content that gets you to react. They know how to incite dopamine rush in you. They know how to get you excited. They know how to get you hooked. They know how to maintain their social media presence. But at the end of the day, most of them don't know how to help you with your sales process, because they don't manufacture anything but dopamine. They manufacture you paying attention to videos and seeing what crazy thing can happen next. The whole goal is to get people to talk about them, not about their skills. But today, let's talk about some of their skills. Their skills is keeping attention, not closing deals. Their skill is hurting people publicly, not getting somebody to where they need to be in life. I want to talk to you about the hope economy. Most salespeople can't explain what a closer does to close. Most sales trainers can't teach how to close. So the clown sells the fix. Fake confidence, instant success, empty hype. Just scream louder, make more noise, and you're going to get there. For them, hope is the drug. The clown's the dealer, and dopamine's the delivery system. The worse their background, the more they're celebrated. Sound familiar? They're a fraud. They got addictions. They've been to jail. Doesn't matter. Just repackage it as a comeback story. I've seen this countless times in multiple industries. People who've done bad things get celebrated for their turnaround story, but they've got nothing to deliver. Their story is better than their coaching. Their story is better than their training. It makes you feel good, but it doesn't close the deals. So here's the problem. We confuse income for integrity. We see status symbols and call them credentials. They really should be questioned. Half the people bragging about 7 figures are counting gross revenue, not profit. When you do enough deals, you see enough inside of enough businesses, you get to figure out the numbers that are impressive are the numbers of money, the amount of money that people keep. Not the top line. We're talking bottom line revenue. They're not thought leaders or carnival barkers in rented suits. Every clown post makes buyers more skeptical, and real professionals work twice as hard for half the trust. But they don't care. They're running the circus. They're running the rings. They're getting paid. They don't care if you get hurt. I want to talk to you about the cowards and the silent enablers. Who are they? They're the business owners, the sales managers, the hiring agents, the executives, and the influencers. They know better, but they don't speak up. And I'll tell you why, because they're afraid to lose some income. I've been told personally a couple of times that I wouldn't be hired for based upon things that I've said. I'm okay with it, right? I'd rather not work with somebody who won't call out bad activities. They hire these hype artists for exposure, report unethical content for engagement, and call it strategy. At the end of the day, we're the people who have to say this is a good or a bad thing for the industry. You can't rely just on presence alone. For some reason, companies love cowards and they love clowns. They love the idea of hyped insecurity. They love the idea of people coming in and being excited. But at the end of the day, the people who get hurt the most are the clients and the salespeople. It's good for metrics, but it's bad for morals. When leadership stays quiet, mediocrity becomes the policy, and abuses happen throughout the company, throughout the business, and throughout the industry. Buyers assume the circus is standard and manipulation is dressed as motivation. Cowards don't create chaos, they just let it win. So who are the cheats? They're the architects of corruption. Here's the behavior. They fabricate testimonials, stage screenshots, rent luxury, and promise 6 figures in 90 days. Or more. Or less. It's a wild chase out there. They sell hope to the untrained, a dream of success without the discipline. They monetize desperation, not development. Desperation is something that gets a lot of salespeople in trouble, so they go and they buy a product in the hopes that it's going to get them to where they need to be, and it doesn't. So they buy another product in hopes it's going to get them to where it needs to be, and they doesn't. And then they buy another one, and eventually they're like, I have all these products, but I've never been able to close deals. So here's what happens is the aspiration of you to attain is weaponized. They know that most people aren't going to get what they need out of it, but they will buy the next course, the next class, the next mastermind, the next live event, the next private mansion event. They turn ambition into an addiction and they call it training. And they make fun of you behind your back. I've been in rooms where some of these supposed thought leaders and trainers and coaches are making fun of the people that are buying from them and giving them money. They doctor results, inflate earnings, and sell the illusion of uncertainty. It's a perverted version of sales and a success without substance. Here's the problem, is when this stuff goes out on social media, your buyer, your potential client sees it. And then they wonder, how am I going to be treated? What's going to happen to me? Is someone going to do some sort of crazy stunt so they could talk about it on social media after they meet with me? Are they going to make fun of me? They're going to call me names? Are you going to use derogatory terms? Because this seems like the standard now. This seems like the way that you do this. You record a call, you blank out some names, you change some voices. It's going to catch up to the industry, and it's going to create a lot of problems. When the cheats get rich, the professionals get doubted. And it's unfortunate, but it's the way that it happens. So here is what's going to happen. AI is coming. It's the reckoning. And it's going to be the great divider between sales leaders, thought leaders, cheats and frauds, and even clowns. See, here's the thing. AI doesn't fall for hype. It verifies some of the truth. Some, not all. It cross-checks data, flags fakes, and measures performance. There's going to be a point where buyer's guides are created through AI, and your sales presentation is going to be graded by AI and not a human being. There's tons of fake reviews, fake income, fake clients. They're all going to be gone. If your brand is built on illusion, AI is going to tear it down. If your brand is built on illusion, the feds can tear it down. There's plenty of letter alphabet agencies out there that love to get a hold of people who are liars, cheats, and frauds, and they love the clowns. After it eliminates the frauds, AI replaces and becomes predictable. Scripts, slides, slogans, all gone. It's going to take skills, talents, and capabilities. If a robot can do it, it's going to take your job. It's going to come down to the lowest common denominator. You're not going to be able to sell on personality if it all turns into AI. You're not going to be able to sell hype. You're not going to be able to sell dreams that don't exist. So AI will destroy the circus. but it might save the craft if you are willing to put in the hard work, if you're willing to put in the time, energy, and effort. When the noise dies down, the only voices that will be left are those that know how to think and feel and sell like a human being. This is where you come in. You still have time. You still have capability. You still have time to beat the clowns and the circus freaks. So here's what it's going to take. It's going to take a code of honor from you. This is how you redeem yourself. So buyers are smarter than the algorithm. They start seeing patterns just like anybody else, and they can spot the real thing instantly. You don't need to outshout the circus. You just need to outlast it. You need to put in the work. You need to put in the effort. The antidote to the hype is humility. So I'm going to challenge you to come up with your own sales code of honor and read it like a creed and go through it daily. I'm going to give you a couple of examples, and I'm actually going to share the one that I use when I meet with clients. So here is an example for you. In my world, we don't humiliate clients, we educate them. We don't fake proof, we document it. We don't chase hype, we pursue mastery. We don't sell dreams, we deliver certainty. We don't sell algorithms, we serve people. And we never forget, every sale is a reflection of who we are, not what we sell. That's a pretty cool version. I'm going to give you mine. You deserve the best, whether it's a company, group, or individual. When you invest with me, you should expect results when you take action. I pledge to give you my full effort every time we work together. I'll always arrive on time, prepared, professional, and sober. My commitment is to uphold the highest of ethical standards. I will not sacrifice my integrity or yours for profit. As we work together, I will challenge you when needed and ease off when appropriate. You'll always receive my real-world assessment, even if it's not the popular answer. This is how I work, and I look forward to coaching and training with you and your team. This goes out to anybody who signs an agreement with me that says, hey, Scott, I want to work with you. It's how I live. It's how I act. So here's what you need to know. The clowns will fade. The cowards will hide. The cheats will be exposed by the truth and technology at some point. We just don't know when. So if we get caught up in it, and it's the only thing we worry about, you're going to miss out on sales. You're going to miss out on deals. The professional, the craftsman, the closers, they're still going to be here. Integrity isn't a trend. It outlasts everything when it comes to games, circus freaks, and animals. I want to let you know that this episode was super important to me. And some of the content, sometimes people don't want to talk about. Some of the content that I put in here, I really question, should it stick? But at the end of the day, if you're going to call out the bad in the industry, you have to call out all of it. It's your role and responsibility to pay attention to who's coaching and training you. It's your role and responsibility to ignore the negative signs of easy. There is no such thing as easy. It's all hard. Everything that we do is hard. Some people have it easier. Some people are better at telling stories. Some people are better at asking questions. Some people are better at closing. It's very rare to meet somebody who's got all the skills, talents, and capabilities from birth. But they're out there. They do. But they have other challenges in life. I just want to let you know that I appreciate you. If you found this episode helpful, share it with a friend. Leave a comment, like, and subscribe. Looking forward to connecting with you soon on another topic. Aloha and mahalo.